Well, you've heard about what the trends are likely to be over the next 5 years going into 2025, but what's going to drive that consumer behavior? Let's take a look at an analysis of 12 million plus registered online consumers in the largest e-grocer in the country. Is that data, is that big data, are those metrics going to help you decide where you should be going in the food industry over the next couple of years? To tell us, we've got Kishore Kumar, Head of Brand Intelligence and BB Accelerate at Big Basket. Kishore?
Good morning, everybody. So let's look at the consumer trends and buying behavior on Big Basket. So prior to that, I'll just walk you through the agenda of the presentation. We will look at all these things, which is the brand intelligence as a function. Just hold on. Yeah, we will look at the functions that we handle, which is brand intelligence and BB Accelerate. We will also look at who are the consumers who are coming out of the platform and what is the frequency of shopping. And we will look at the emerging trends as well as tips for startup brands. So in terms of brand intelligence, we deal with the larger CPG players like the Levers, PepsiCo, Coke, Nestle, GSK, and so on and so forth. What is it that we do and what is the value that the CPG players derive out of these offerings? So let's look at each one of them. So we do brand reporting for them, which is basically brand performance across cities, which involves number of households, consumption, frequency, affinity, loyalty, and so on and so forth that's shared with the brands. That adds tremendous value to the brands because they'll get to know what are the kind of cross promotions that they need to come up with based on the data that they have. We also do category reporting, which talks about the current trends that are there for the within the category. What is the potential that is there for the category? There are gaps, if any, for the brands to look at in terms of the category gaps that are there. So we also work on the zip code wise performance of a brand for them to know how well are they doing at each pin code level. This helps brands tremendously to compare themselves with modern trade numbers. So we also help brands with A/B testing, which is brands can look at a specific creative being targeted to two different segments of consumers, and brands can get to know which particular creative is working well, where it is getting the best kind of impressions, conversions, and so on and so forth, so that they can go and replicate this creative or offer across formats. We help brands understand net gain loss of households, whether they're gaining or losing households. If they're gaining or losing, who are they gaining or losing from? We help brands with clickstream study, basically for consumers to understand where is the consumer coming from, what is the consumer journey. We help with targeted campaigns for the brand. So we can help consumers understand who, based on the TG definition that the consumer shares with us, we can identify households with babies, with kids, diabetic prone households, health conscious households, and we can reach them out with a specific campaign only for them. So what are the differentiators that we have when compared to any other research agencies? Just that we just don't provide insights. We can help you action them as well on the platform. Just a minute. Yeah. So in terms of the brand intelligence differentiators, you look at it, we just don't help with insights, but insights plus action. Real data is near real time. We are much more cost effective than any other agency that you would work with. We don't extrapolate data at all. It is the data as is that is shared. Much shorter turnaround time vis-a-vis any other, because we have a consumer panel ready with us. We also help with personalization and lifetime value tracking. So coming to certain data points that we have looked at, if you want to look at the consumers who are shopping, we got the hypothesis from the book How Brands Grow by Byron Sharp tested on our platform. So we looked at the top 6. So we looked at the top 5, 6 FMCG categories within our platform, and within these categories, we looked at the brand 1, brand 2. We looked at 1-year data points to look at who are the consumers who are shopping, and the hypothesis tested out came like this for brand 1. If you look at the number of households that are buying a brand in terms of sales and in number of households and sales value, the new base of households that are buying a brand is much higher than the repeat households. Same is with the frequency of shopping in a year. Yeah. So same thing comes for brand 2 as well. So if you look at it, the hypothesis came true. World over, the book talks about world over brands are growing by 2 things. Consumers who are new and consumers who buy less frequently. So that came true when we had tested this hypothesis as well. So what does this mean for the brands? When you have consumers who are new and who are buying less frequently, brands have to spend heavily in terms of acquiring new customers. Yeah, so just sharing frequency of brands, frequency of consumers when it comes to monthly level. So on a B2C platform, you have around 3 times of purchase that happens on a monthly level. We have the smart vending machines and the daily subscription model also. 6 times in the case of a smart machine, and 15 times on the daily subscription model. So when we look at the buying behavior of consumers, couple of data points that we looked at. Grandmom is right. People are going back to roots. So if you look at it, people are in the last few years are going back to the Desi cow ghee, A2 ghee, and so on and so forth. So you would see a lot of brands, the Ayurvedic brands like Kapiva to Dr. Vaidyas and everything, seeing a much higher traction when compared to the rest of the brands. So this is one trend that we are seeing on our platform. So again, if you look at it in terms of products, you could classify certain products as better for you products versus value add products. Better for you products are products, say like if you don't have preservatives, no chemicals, no maida, no preservatives, no added sugar. These are all better for you if you don't have these. There are other kind of products which are like good, you have the value add products, right? The fortified, extra, multigrain, and so on and so forth. If you look at these 2 types of products, the trend is more towards better for you products, which is like basic vanilla product without all these preservatives and chemicals that works. In terms of trends, again, with consumers being exposed to various cuisines, palates, and occasions, and with double income groups, you're seeing preferences for, packed hummus to on-the-go foods, and which means ready-to-eat as a category is going to grow up tremendously well in the coming years. Again, if you look at the trends, we see the active lifestyle healthy trends, which is catching up. So that's why you see marathons, cyclothons going up in the last few years, which means that's why the fitness ecosystems like a Cult Fit, Eat Fit, and so on and so forth, this is resulting in consumers changing their eating patterns and what they consume. That's why you see a lot of protein food, healthy foods, macro foods having a great potential in the coming years. Again, in terms of foods, brands which are Indian versus international in the same category, trends are shifting towards Indian brands more than international brands. Food, if you're focused on food, processed foods, either completely position yourself as a completely health food, like a health beverage or a probiotic, so that people will gulp it like a drink, like a healthy drink. But if you're trying to call it a proper food, it has to be a mix of taste as well as health. Sugar consumption, we tried conducting a study on sugar consumption on our platform for 4 years. We looked at households which have been buying sugar consistently. 2016, they were buying sugar on our platform. They were active in Big Basket. They were still active in Big Basket in 2019 end. We looked at what is happening to sugar consumption for the same households so that we have a constant base to look at. we found sugar consumption slowly decreasing. It is decreasing, but not at a larger level. It is marginally decreasing, and it is shifting towards honey and jaggery. So tips for smaller brands, especially, we also handle the function accelerate. If you look at the function accelerate that we deal with startups, help them scale within a year. When it comes to the category route, larger brands like Levers, PepsiCo, Nestle deal with the category team for regular listing, promotions, and growing the category. When it comes to smaller startups, companies which are less than 1 to 2 years old, they have an option to onboard onto BB Accelerate program that we run. We become the single point of contact for those startups. We handhold them by handling the category, doing the brand intelligence function for them, help them scale from whatever they are currently to a much larger level. So the value add for brands over there is single point of contact, helping them scale at a very nominal fee, much richer data that they can get access to at an early stage. So having worked with these brands for a couple of years right now, certain small tips for especially startups is basically just get it going. Don't spend too much time on margin negotiations because a 25% margin or a 30% margin on a zero sale is zero. So just go ahead, get it cracking rather than losing out 2-3 months in terms of listing. Too much listing is not necessarily good. Focus on the cities which get you the maximum sales from a platform, and focus on those cities rather than just because you have free access to listing across location doesn't mean that you need to get access to all cities. You need to be placed at all cities. Yeah, spend more time on an online platform. A brand should spend more time on basic hygiene like discoverability on the platform, investing on the various assets on the platform to search term banners as such, and so on and so forth, and ensure stock availability. Targeted sampling is a great avenue for brands, because if you believe your product is good, we can help you with targeted sampling. Use that approach to convert consumers, because the stake for a consumer is very minimal if you are giving a product for sample. Believe in genuine partnership, partner with retailers in a way wherein you genuinely want to look at opportunities to grow rather than short-term benefits. Yeah, again, don't look at short-term, look at ROI in long-term beyond a year or two. We try out personalization activations on the platform and various experiments that you can do in the initial years to learn what works for you before scaling up. Yes, that's it. Thanks.